I'm Asad Ahmad. This is BBC London. We'll have more on tributes to the Queen in a moment after some other news. Hundreds of people, including the family of an unarmed black man who was shot dead by police on Monday in South London, gathered outside Parliament today, calling for the officer under investigation to be suspended. Yesterday, they learned that a criminal investigation had begun into the actions of the armed officer who killed 24-year-old Chris Kaba. Here's Greg McKenzie.
Fighting back tears, the family of 24-year-old Chris Kaba arrived to lead a peaceful march in Westminster to remember their much-loved son.
Well, today we're here to honour and remember and memorialise Chris Kaba, whose life was cut short unnecessarily and needlessly at the hands of the Metropolitan Police. We can see a huge amount of public support, community support for Chris Kaba's family, and we're all here in solidarity with them to support them.
When I say Chris, you say matter! Chris! Matter! Chris! Matter!
Thousands of people gathered on the march, calling for justice. Yesterday, the police watchdog, the IOPC, launched a homicide investigation into the police shooting of Chris Kaba.
This is a highly significant development. It's really rare and in our view should have happened from the outside. What could be more serious than an unarmed black man being shot dead on the streets of London by a firearms officer? This must be a fearless criminal investigation.
The Metropolitan Police says it's fully cooperating with the IOPC and that its thoughts and sympathies remain with Mr. Kaba's friends and family. It has also confirmed that the officer involved is no longer on operational duties. Organisers of today's march say the family have been touched by the amount of people who have gathered here today.
It's unprecedented, so we're desperately thankful for the thousands that have turned up today, sending a very strong message to the Mayor, the new Commissioner and the Home Secretary that this has got to end. Chris has to be the last.
The Kaba family says today's march will be the first of many as they await the conclusion of the IOPC's homicide investigation. Greg McKenzie, BBC London.
Now on to tributes to the Queen, and we're going to head to Greenwich, which is only one of a handful of areas in the entire country with royal borough status. It's due to its connection with the royal family, and it was the Queen's express wish that it was awarded to the area. Thomas Magill has been seeing how people there have been remembering her.
Paying her respects, Yasmin was in Greenwich to sign a book of condolence on behalf of her family here and in Zimbabwe. Her message, like so many others, was a simple one. Thank you, ma'am, for 70 years of service.
I grew up in a colony, but she was a huge part of our lives. It's such a huge loss because there are so many people across the world, the Commonwealth, that adored the Queen.
The Queen had visited Greenwich many times. This was her with Prince Philip in 2012, reopening the Cutty Sark after a large fire. And with her visit, she granted the borough special recognition.
She done us the greatest honour of making us a royal borough in 2012 as well. And we were the first borough in 80 years to become a royal borough. So the residents and everyone in Greenwich are really proud of our royal borough status.
Across the road at the National Maritime Museum, another tribute to the Queen, who first visited in 1937 when she was just 11.
She came with her father, George VI, to open the National Maritime Museum and the Queen's House. And you can really see that sense of duty that she can understand that she was going to be taking on, but she was also having a bit of fun.
Well, the National Maritime Museum has also opened a book of condolence, and here it is here. And among the many messages from Londoners, there is a very international feel, one from Australia, the Commonwealth, from Dallas in the United States on its first page, and we can see messages from a family from Malta. The messages here are all saying the same thing, thanking Her Majesty for a life of service.
Well, I felt very upset, but it also brings back to mind when you've lost your own mother as well, you know. So, yeah.
Both books of condolence, like many others across the capital, will remain open until the funeral. Thomas Magill, BBC London.
During the period of mourning ahead of the Queen's funeral, you can expect changes in London according to what's needed. Our correspondent Tom Edwards can tell us more about this. And Tom, I understand more information has just been announced.
Yeah, there was an announcement from the Palace at 5 o'clock and it outlines more details of what's going to happen over the coming days. The funeral will be on Monday, the 19th of September at 11 o'clock in 9 days' time at Westminster Abbey. That will be a bank holiday. And before that, the Queen will lie in state for 4 days in Westminster Hall from Wednesday, the September the 14th, where people will be able to pay their respects. So 2 key dates there.
With all this activity over the coming days, I expect there are going to be changes in London.
Yes, at the moment a very small area of central London is closed to vehicles, mainly around the Mall, but there will be more road closures, I think. And we spoke to a former Met commander who said they were going to need 10,000 police officers for security every day. In comparison, Notting Hill Carnival has 6,000 officers each day. He called it the biggest security operation ever in the UK. So yes, Londoners can expect to see big changes to the centre of the city over the coming days.
And we'll keep an eye on it. Tom Edwards, thanks very much for that. Well, this weekend, a number of sporting and other events have been cancelled or postponed. Today's annual Great River Race along the Thames was one of them. But those participating still took to the water. Victoria Cook explains why.
Londoners were surprised this lunchtime to look out on the Thames and see this. Dozens and dozens of boats travelling silently in memory of Her Majesty the Queen. Black flags and armbands replaced the usual fancy dress of what's known as the River Marathon.
I think you do whatever your skill allows you to do to show your respect for the death of this amazing monarch. And the crews are excited. They're very excited. And I like to think that they will look back and tell their children and their grandchildren, I was part of that memorial pageant row through London. And they're going to go under all London's bridges. It really is quite something.
1, 2, 3. Rowers travelled from all over the world to take part in this historic event.
As a woman that has been in a position of power for so many years, we want to represent her and we want to commemorate her also and all her achievements. So this is our way of doing it.
Been experienced the whole way down. So it's a shame it's not a race, but I understand why, so looking forward to it.
Memorable. So everybody's new to the water, they'll see the sights, and to be in London, actually on the day, it's just brilliant.
The River Race isn't the only event that's been cancelled or changed in some way this weekend. There have been lots of sporting fixtures that have also been affected. So the Premier League said that it was calling off all its games today, and other events. So for example, the BBC Proms has also been cancelled. A show of appreciation at the end. 21.6 miles of rowing isn't easy. An emotional journey for the rowers, but one they were so keen to complete to show their respect. Victoria Cook, BBC London.
And now let's get the weather forecast with Elizabeth.
Hello there, good evening. There's lots of dry weather in the forecast now, not just for the rest of the weekend, but also for much of next week too. Now, overnight tonight, it is looking dry with some clear spells around. Temperatures for some spots could drop back into high single figures, so a slightly chillier start to the day tomorrow. There'll also be some mist, some fog and some low cloud around as well. So reduced visibility for many places tomorrow morning, but that will all lift and clear fairly readily and the skies will brighten. Variable amounts of cloud throughout the day, small chance for shower but mostly dry, some sunny spells, and temperatures will peak at around 23 degrees Celsius. Some warmer air coming in from the south on this light southerly breeze with high pressure dominating. Could feel even warmer still as we head into Monday, sunny spells and highs of 26 degrees.
Finally, a survey has shown that nearly a third of people in the UK say they've either seen or met the Queen. If you're one of them, we'd love to hear your story and memories of when it happened. All you have to do is email us on hellobbclondon@bbc.co.uk. Once again for you, hellobbclondon@bbc.co.uk. We'll look forward to hearing from you. Now, there's more rolling coverage of tributes to the Queen and King Charles III's succession to the throne on the BBC News channel and all BBC outlets. Goodbye.